Many thanks for staying tuned on the EDVN television. This is the Market Report, where we bring you insightful information about government economic policy, private sector initiative in the area of Nigerian economy and global economy. And also on international perspective, we bring you issues around global economic perspective, particularly what is happening on a global scale, the tension in Europe around the economy, the supply chain valuation issues, and other aspects of economy that affect not just the entire continent of Africa, but particularly to each individual countries as it happens. But for today, our discussion focus is on entrepreneurship development, bridging the gaps of entrepreneurship development in Nigeria. And one of the key issues is that we need to assess entrepreneurship development in Nigeria. How far has the story, the narrative around entrepreneurship development in Nigeria has gone? And I could say authoritatively that the last 25 years, it has become something very, very great on the aspect. So I have my guest joining me right now, Dr. Oladele. A very good day to you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, sir.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, thank you. Now, quickly, what is your assessment of entrepreneurship development in Nigeria?
Thank you so much for this question. I would like to see it in three ways, from the policy aspect, from the practice aspect, and from the research aspect. Forgive me, I'm an academic, so you will forgive me that I am doing that in those three areas. So I would say, for example, on the policy area, a lot is going on, especially with respect to the Presidential Committee on Enabling Ease of Doing Business in Nigeria. Lots is going on. Different policies are coming up to ensure that businesses thrive in Nigeria. I must also mention that there are also some policies that are significantly negatively impacting businesses in Nigeria. But from the policy side, I would say that it is good. But you know that policy without implementation, like we say about production, when goods have not reached the final consumer, we cannot say production is complete. In the same light, if we look at what is going on right now, once policies are not translated to realities on the ground, then we cannot say we have done well. So on that side, I would give it a 50-50. Yes, there are policies that have been done that encourage entrepreneurship. Also, there are policies that are impacting entrepreneurship in Nigeria significantly. From the practice side, I would say that it is a bit difficult. If you talk to a regular entrepreneur on the streets, they will give you stories that are unpleasant. Many things are still impacting entrepreneurship in Nigeria. We know infrastructure, for example, is a big deal. Connectivity, that's transport. We also have issues around the ability of people to transcend just mere environment. There are significant external forces that are impacting the practice of entrepreneurship in Nigeria. Then on the research side, I would say a lot is going on, both funded locally and externally. Before I left the university system, I was part of a research that was looking at how to scale up entrepreneurship in Nigerian universities. So a lot is going on in that area with respect to research, and many things have been found out. A senior colleague also, who I have interacted with a bit, Professor Sheon Kolade, has also been doing something around African entrepreneurship, and there is a lot that is going on in that space. So generally, I would say that entrepreneurship development in Nigeria is developing, is emerging. It's not great to be, yes.
Exactly. Because I wanted to ask a question. Are Nigerians really showing interest in embracing entrepreneurship? On this show before you joined me, I use myself as an example. About 20 years ago, the federal government of Nigeria said we should all be taking courses in entrepreneurship in Nigerian university. That was about 20 years ago. And Martin myself was the first set of university students that were asked to be doing that. And at the time of when we were about to approach our course year exam, we are all asked to go and do practical elsewhere. I choose tailoring. And I was sent to a particular tailoring school to go and learn how to sew clothes and the rest of them. But now, is that still encouraging, that interest is still showing on the face of our students to embrace entrepreneurship?
Yes, I would say significantly yes, that's the case, because when you look at young people, many of them don't want to work 35 years and earn a pension. Many of them want to make money now. But I would also like to clarify a bit that there is a difference between learning a trade and entrepreneurship.
Exactly.
If you look at the NBS, the statistics they give us is that we have more than 40 million micro, small, and medium businesses in Nigeria. But what I call most of those businesses is business of make I see something chop. In the sense that if you bring those people and give them a government job today, would they still do that business? If there are options, would they still do that business? Many people in Nigeria that are doing business today, the reality is that they are doing it because there is nothing else to do. Entrepreneurship is when you have options, but you pick it as a choice that this is what I want to do. So it's not that it's emergency or it's mandatory for you. If you don't do it, you cannot survive. You cannot. So I believe that is significant to clarify that most of the things that we do today is because we want to survive, not because we want to be entrepreneurs in the real sense of the word. But yes, significant interest, even in Nigerian universities, in polytechnics and other tertiary institutions, there is significant interest among Nigerians.
Very interesting. Now, another thing that quickly come to my mind as you are talking about the difference between people who want to do business, they get government job, will they still continue, or the spirit of entrepreneurship is not in there? What about those that consider themselves as side hustler? Are they also entrepreneurs?
So it's difficult to clarify, Like I said about research, there are many names that are emerging now. There is what recently, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, something came up which is called subsistence entrepreneurship. So doing your business and you're just doing it for within a confine. You don't have any plans to expand it. And then it's said, even in financial services sector, we say that one stream of income is not sufficient to keep you and help you survive. So you need other streams of income, and so you do side hustle. Pentecostals will say that we are not hustlers. So we do side jobs, and for those side jobs, I am not sure that they count as entrepreneurship. I believe that they count as business, and I believe that it counts towards economic activities, but I'm not sure in my own understanding that it counts as entrepreneurship, because when you do entrepreneurship, you're making a choice to ideate and develop and sustain a business into the future, a legacy. Anything short of that is not entrepreneurship in my own scope of definition at this time.
Exactly. Now talking about your scope and your understanding, and for someone who is very, you are very close to entrepreneurs and motivating them and encouraging them. But that this aspect that people normally ask, business school are springing up here and there. But is there anything wrong with the theories that business school are teaching? That most of them, those theories are not too fulfilling when it comes to practical. Is there anything wrong with those theories?
Okay, thank you so much. This is a part that interests me significantly. And I say this because many times you realize that people say those theories are not good. And I spent 10 years in the university system before moving to financial services sector. And I would say my major opinion is that those theories are the bedrock of development. So in Nigeria, you see someone who does not have the knowledge of theory, go on to become a practitioner. Yes, they can be very good with. Let's use a practical example. You don't go to a driving school. You only learn how to drive. You just start driving one day, and maybe after 10 years, you claim that you're a good driver. But you don't know the art. That's the ART of driving. And so you might be driving and your sitting position is not correct. Your braking system is not correct. I've been in a vehicle where the driver was braking badly. And I told him that this way you're braking is not appropriate. And I was like, do you know, I've been driving for more than 20 years. And it's true, it's correct. But he's not driving well. But he's claiming behind him that he has. So when we ignore theory and go to practice, and that's why I was sharing with some of my colleagues yesterday that it is wrong for the university or the educational system to be picking pointers from industry. Industry should be the ones coming to the university system, the educational system. Because in the educational system, you can make mistakes. That's why we use pencil when we were younger. We can make mistakes and clean it off. Even when we get older and we start using pen, we can write and knock it off. But in the business sector, you're not supposed to be making mistakes. It's easy for me to fail in the educational system. The worst that can happen is repeat the class. But in the business environment, when you make that kind of mistake, it impacts lives. So imagine that if I work in the financial services sector, imagine that someone mistakenly exposes the account of, let's say, a Dangote or a Femi Oladele to the public. That error can cost that person a sack and threat to his life, generally. But if I make that mistake in a classroom environment, the highest that I will get is, oh, you have failed this course, repeat the course. So if we don't allow people to make mistakes in the educational system and we push them to practice, then they make those mistakes in practice, then we're not doing well for ourselves. So I would say that those theories are the bedrock. And one final thought on that is that the reason why I think that Nigeria has not developed so much is because we have ignored theory. You see many people nowadays, everybody wants to become a data scientist. Even someone that does not even know the theory of data science wants to become a data scientist. And yes, they are able to learn how to use those tools. They can use the tools, but they don't understand the theories behind those tools, so they cannot develop their own tools. So we don't have our own tools. But you see many people in Nigeria that can use tools, and fine. But if we say, where is a Nigerian homegrown tool that can do the same activity, that can do the same function, that can do the same, can carry out the same operation, we don't have them. So I think that theory is very important, really.
All right, very interesting, and theory is very key. And apart from theory, there is this aspect that many of you guys in the coaching aspect of entrepreneurship normally preach, advocate: digital literacy. Digital literacy, digital literacy. How important, how germane is digital literacy to an entrepreneur in a remote area or out of a remote area?
So you know that digital literacy is not confined within spaces. We know that access levels differ, yes. Someone living in Lagos and major cities have access to 5G. Others don't have access to 5G. So we know that there are access gaps. But digital literacy itself is not limited to location, because even if I'm in a rural area, I still need digital skills. I need digital tools and techniques to be able to do my activities and carry out my functions better. And so that we cannot deny that fact. And so, in this 21st century where everything is going digital, anyone who abandons that will be doing his business a significant disservice, because what it means is that you cannot even keep up with what is happening around the world. So it's a significant thing. And when you look at cost, there are rising costs, labor costs. Technology is able to help you lower some of those costs. But if you don't have the skill to do it, yesterday I registered a business by myself because I have access to laptop, I have access to the internet, and I did it by myself. For cost less than, I don't want to advertise for CSC, but it's a government institution.
Exactly.
I did it all by myself. If someone to do it for me, I'll be paying more than 100% of what I did by myself because I have the skills. So you cannot deny the significance of digital skills in marketing, in sales, in operations, in every area of the business.
Exactly. Very fantastic from you. Now let's now talk of the bulk of the issue about entrepreneur. If you have anybody that you train about entrepreneurship, the next thing they'll be waiting for the handout, the startup capital, the startup this. Why is it always the mindset of entrepreneur that it is money first? Not the spirit, not the capacity, not acquiring the knowledge, not acquiring the practical skills that's in there. Why is it always about money, money, money? I can remember far back then, 20 years ago when I was in university, when we were doing that course, one of the things that people were suggesting to the government that when we finish that particular, they should give us money to go and start business.
Yes, so money is important to make money. I can't deny that. But I think the reason why it is peculiar, especially to us, is because of our environment. It is difficult to raise finance in Nigeria. Also, we don't have a lot of patient capital. Many people who want to give you money want their money back in 12 months. Many of them even want it with significant interest, which is not possible because in building a business, you need time. You need lots of time. You need lots and lots of time. So we don't have that patient. We don't have as much patient capital in Africa, and we also don't have patient people. If you tell me to quit my job today, the first question I would ask you is, what would I eat before the business becomes stable? So that's why money becomes very important in deciding the issues. Also, the fact that I cannot walk into a bank and get money out if I don't have some certain level of social capital. In other climes, it is easy for you to go into the bank and say, I have this business idea, and they will give you upfront funding. That's not very, very possible in Nigeria. So that's why many times you hear that people are asking that, oh, I need money to do that. So it's not, I don't think it's a problem that we should shout at every interval. I think it is a challenge that pushes us to do work in that area, such that we have support systems that help entrepreneurs to balance off and take care of some of their pending needs.
Very interesting. Now, as we begin to round up, practically, we need to suggest ways government can handle these entrepreneurship gaps that we have, the challenges and the rest of them. For you, having a collaborative effort between the government, the education system, institution, and the private sector is very key. So what would be your suggestion for a collaborative effort with government and the private sector altogether?
Thank you so much. So there is no gainsaying that there is a significant need for collaboration. Partnerships is even is number 17 of the SDGs. And so partnerships significant for entrepreneurship. But one key area that I want that partnership to be strengthened is in the area of support systems. Support systems from the end of the government with keeping in mind policy, keeping in mind how we can use research also to support entrepreneurs. Like I mentioned when I started, I was sharing with a senior colleague in business some days ago, and I said that entrepreneurs should not be the ones making the mistakes that they are making. Many businesses are dying in Nigeria. Many of them are closing up because they are the ones testing business ideas in the market. Researchers should be the ones testing those ideas. Entrepreneurs should only be implementing and giving us feedback in the research field. Unfortunately, because we don't fund research significantly, researchers are unable also to do most of those research, which is a problem. So in supporting entrepreneurs, the collaboration I would like to see is where the support systems in the educational sector is strengthened, that researchers are able to do research and give those results to entrepreneurs to go and test. And not entrepreneurs testing by themselves.
Exactly. Very fantastic from you. But just in 30 seconds, Doctor, startup is a big business in Africa. Nigeria is one of the top 10 countries that normally enjoy startup. But why? My concern is, why is it that it's only the fintech aspect of this startup that we normally gain? Fintech are getting all the money. What happened to the other sector that's supposed to get the money from the startup? Why is it happening like that? And it's not only in Nigeria. All the 4 countries that are leading, it is their fintech that normally get the startup. Why?
Because investors want to get back their money.
That's serious.
That's the fastest way to get back your money.
It's true. Actually.
So I believe it's an abnormal. I don't think it should be happening that way because there are other more real sectors where development can happen and can be faster also. But that's the reality we have currently. I believe that agriculture, education, and infrastructure are more significant areas where we should invest in.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Dr. Femi. I hope to have you next when we are, anytime issues like this come, it is you who call on and get your view and your perspective. Very insightful, very analytic. Thank you so much. And when are you returning to Abuja? You don't know yet. But anyway, enjoy your day. Enjoy the rest of your day in Lagos, sir.
Thank you so much.